Godzilla vs. Kong was one of the hypest projects in the Monsterverse, and once it finally released, it was no surprise. The film was released during the COVID-19 pandemic, where cinemas across the globe were closed. However, despite being very limited to screenings and streaming services, Godzilla vs. Kong showed to be a massive hit in 2021, and was successful enough that a sequel was greenlit. And now, 5 years later after being in production, the sequel finally releases, continuing where the Monsterverse had left off. But was it worth the wait? Does this film live up to its hype as much as its predecessor did? And what makes this film truly stand out in the franchise? This is my review on Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, and why I think this film is the greatest in the Monsterverse. Warning! This video does contain spoilers for Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, so for anyone that hasn't seen it yet and doesn't want to be spoiled, feel free to click off the video now. First, let's start with the direction of the film. Adam Wingard, who returns to direct after previously directing Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, helps keep our promises in this movie. Multiple action involving around the monsters, with no human stories. And that promise definitely lives up to its hype. This film is supposed to have a great turn your brain off movie plot, with nothing but giant monsters going head to head with each other. Godzilla vs. Kong had something similar to this, but was ruined because the humans in that film were just awful. This film thankfully acknowledges that issue, and it knows that no one comes to see humans in the film anyway, and just wants big monster fights. This is a perfect example of a turn your brain off movie, which I hope is where the Monsterverse continues it for the future. If not, at least have some human characters that remain likable. Speaking of big monster action, there's plenty of it. And oh boy does it deliver. The action sequences are both exciting and fast paced. And best part is there's no human characters involved in the action, perfectly establishing kaiju versus kaiju spectacle fun. From Kong fighting against Scar King, to Godzilla fighting against Shimo, it's really fascinating on how a kaiju movie plot can truly be created. And speaking of kaiju, this film has plenty of them, and even they have development. This film does well on showing us how even the kaiju feel about themselves and each other, and just how they communicate with each other. The best examples are Scar King commanding and riding on Shimo, Kong trying to get Godzilla's help, Mothra calming Godzilla down, and Godzilla commanding Shimo to attack Scar King, following his orders, instead of Scar. Also, despite this being a monster-focused film, the humans are actually likable. In previous entries, the humans come off as boring, underdeveloped, and forgettable. Here, they actually gotten better. The biggest highlight of the cast is without a doubt the Trapper, played by Dan Stevens. When focusing on the human story, he brings a lot to the table, helping Kong become stronger, joining with the characters to help explore Hollow Earth, and just overall being one of the best human characters in the Monsterverse. Another shadow in the cast is Jaya. Her ability to be able to communicate with the giant monsters returns in this film, who is the key to reawakening Mothra. And if it wasn't for her bringing Mothra during Godzilla and Kong's battle in Egypt, Godzilla would have for sure killed Kong. Jaya is just an all-round very cute and very likable character, and I look forward to seeing what they do with her in the future. It's also worth noting that the cast does the voices of the characters great still, helping develop their characters greatly. Another great point of this film is the budget is $135 million. While not quite as insane as, say, Godzilla Minus One, this is still incredible. It's currently the lowest budget of any Monsterverse film, and the effects and visuals still look really nice. For a budget this low, it's another great example of a film not needing a $250 million budget to look like a masterpiece. Another great aspect of the film is that it even has some funny moments involving the kaiju in the film. Kong dragging Godzilla to the Hollow Earth, and there are two very funny moments in the film, with one having an ape guard of Scar King talking nonsense to Kong, only for Kong just seconds later single-handedly punch the guard down. The other is during his fight against three other apes, Kong uses Suko as a weapon to fight against them, ragdolling him and then proceeds to throw him out One Eye. Both very funny and are perfect examples of humor done right in the Monsterverse, unlike Godzilla King of the Monsters. This film is also pretty adventurous in its own right, offering plenty of locations for the eye sighting, with everything shown in the Hollow Earth, to many other locations on land, including Rome, France, Italy, Egypt, and Rio. Finally, this film is great for a hardcore kaiju fan. It pays great tribute to the Showa Godzilla movies, being goofy and silly with mindless action involving around the monsters and the human characters doing crazy shenanigans with each other. It definitely helps appeal to the younger audiences and families as well, while still remaining PG-13. I have almost no complaints about this film, except for the fact that it does face competition with Godzilla Minus One. But I can't speak about that. If I were to rant about this film being inferior to Minus One, then this video would go on for even longer than it should. That's also sort of my point. I wish people would stop comparing this to Minus One, and just enjoy these films as is, because it's getting annoying, and many people have opinions. Toxic fanboys do exist on both sides of the spectrum, and I'm not going to say much about it except to enjoy what you love. Overall, my final opinion on Godzilla X Kong The New Empire is that it's the best of the Monsterverse. It's a massive improvement over previous entries, and is sure to thrill die-hard kaiju fans. I'm very happy I got to see this on IMAX a week after its release, and got a great feeling out of it similar to Godzilla King of the Monsters, which was the first movie I saw in theaters. This is a great step in the right direction of the Monsterverse, and I look forward to seeing what comes next. What is your opinion on Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? And what are you hoping for in the future of the Monsterverse? Let me know in the comments section below, and make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to see more on my channel. Thanks for watching. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is 2024 cinema peak at its finest, and the greatest in the Monsterverse. It takes everything great about the franchise and makes it even better.